Hey, how you doing? This Iowa Hunter coming at you. I'm up here at the ranch house, and I was just looking through some stuff here. I've been out working today, and this is a card out of my plot watcher camera. And I pulled a couple other ones out. This is my Brassica plot, and the deer just been in there with their heads down, just mowing across that all day and all night. And this is a little bit of a card before I started hot wired off, because the day last year they come through and ate all the leaves off. And then the turnips don't want to grow. But they're just in there, seemed like 24/7. So I started in with this Gallagher fencing system. And I have the S40. And there's two settings on there. You can turn it on wildlife mode, which pulses faster at nighttime and slower during the daytime when the wildlife's not moving as much. Or you can turn on livestock mode, which pulses faster during the daytime when the livestock's more active and slower at nighttime. And with the photocell on there, it'll last 3 days without any sunshine. But you put 2 rows of poles, and I got these little fiberglass poles, and they got little clips on me pushed together. And the poles are, I've read between 32 to 30, or 30 to 36 inches. I put them at 32 inches apart between the 2 rows. And then you start stringing your wire. You have 2 strands of wire that go around, turbo wire that go around the inside, and a turbo taper on the outside. Well, I did the tape first because I wanted to come off the wood line so far. I wanted to get as close to the wood line as I can and stay out of my Brassica plot. But I pounded them all in with a hammer. You could do it with the fence pounder, it'd be a lot easier. I just strung it out. You can string the wire out with a spool like that and just walk around it. You got 2 strands of wire. And the wire is, I think the first one's 10 inches off the ground, and the next one's 24 inches off the ground, if I remember right. That's on the inside. And then keep working at it. Then you get down to where you're stringing the tape. See, that's the tape there. It's actually like a piece of tape. It's fiber, but and you want to undo it like this at a coil. You don't want to unroll it. You want it to be curly on the outside. It gives it a 3-dimensional effect. And that tape is 18 inches off the ground. Every one of my fiberglass poles are in the ground 18 inches, according to Gallagher. So I put all my rods in the ground 18 inches. And then the tape is 18 inches off the ground for the outside wire. And so we uncoiled that out and put it in the clips. So you got 1 outside tape and 2 inside. They're called wires, but they kind of have like a cord with metal impregnated into them. And that's what it looks like. So I got it up, and this is, didn't get the juice to it the first night. So I had deer in there the first night. And then I come back up and I finished putting in a few clips, and I got the Energizer and powered her up. And I was wondering, did I do everything right? This is a pretty good sized wired off area that's kind of complicated because it goes all through the woods and back around and all over the place. And so that's my Brassicas. They're looking good. Looking real good. Put them on the 26th of last month. But, I just too much feeding pressure off them. So here's where it's working. It's powered up now. Here's the doe on the outside of the fence. That was on the 12th. And I got it powered up on the 11th. So there's one on the outside. There's a couple more. Now this little guy got in, and he's the only one that I know of that got in so far. What I found out was, as you can see right here, he had this clip and this wire I had set it on top, and I didn't have it clipped in all the way. and that wire was dropped down. Now, if you look over here a little farther, you see that big guy's on the outside of the tape. He didn't want to risk it, I guess, but that one had knocked that top. I didn't have it clipped in all the way on that thing, and it's impossible to come out of there if it was clipped in all the way, but I didn't have it clipped in. I remember setting it on top of there, and I didn't get in there right. So he was in there from actually pretty much 8 o'clock until 8:44, and then nothing else. I came back up to check today, and this was me. I came up to pull the card out of the plot watcher camera to check to see what was in there. And that's the only deer that got in there, and we took care of that. I did see a lot of. I had video. I don't have on this card, but I had a whole bunch of turkeys in there. They were up to the other end, and they were all, running in circles, and you could tell they were very nervous. They were inside the gate, but they were inside the wire, and a couple of them flew out of there. A couple of them walked under, and I think their feathers are thick enough that on their back of their back, it doesn't bother them much, but I'm sure if they touch it with their neck or whatever, I've seen a couple of them come flying across the field, and take off. But they were really nervous when they got inside the wire because, they were in there eating too. But I think it's going to do its job. And, if a guy wanted to do that every year, it'd be pretty easy. You could put up some permanent corner posts, especially in a traditional food plot, not like this one, and string your 3 wires and then pull it tight. Well, this has so many different ways to it. It goes up here, and then it comes back down here and goes this way, goes through the woods. It just goes all over to cover this plot in several different areas. And I think it's really going to save my brassica this year. I got another probably 3/4 acre of brassicas on the east side, and I'm letting them have them. Them are coming in really good. But I think I'm going to keep this fenced off till late season, let them get really tall, and then I'll just take out the poles in the middle of the field if I have to plow or something next year, and I'll roll the tape up, and then I'll let them in sometime in late season there. And then when them turnips all freeze and the sweetness comes up, I'll have some big bullies in there to check out. Anyway, this is Iowa Hunter. I just want to talk to you a little bit about this. And if you look up the S40 by Gallagher, I think Gallagher is the premier fencer, electric fencer. And, it's not that hard of a deal. I mean, if you didn't have such a crazy plot like I have, and try to get everything in there, especially if you just had a square or oval, you could put 4, main poles in there, and then you could put them temporary push-in poles. They only go in like 4 inches. And you can clip your wire in those just to keep the wire spaced properly. But those fiberglass rods, 18 inches of the ground, 30 feet apart, and like 30 to 36 inches in between the inside and outside row. And that's a little work getting that done the first time, but we're going to leave her up and see what happens. And I'm going to leave this plot watcher camera in that field just to see if anything else happens to get in there. I don't think it'd be impossible. Something could be running at nighttime and make a jump, but at least I don't have 20 or 30 deer in there at nighttime shaving it off. If one gets in there once in a while, it's not going to kill me. But anyway, I kind of want to give you an update. And if you got any questions on electric fence, I do have the main unit's up here, and I got like 3 acres clear down at the other end. When I first come in my food plot, I have a real small little clip. You just clip it on any of the wires, and there's a little probe that goes down and sticks in the ground. So when I come up into my food plot, I don't have to wonder if it's charging or if it's got electric in it. That light is picking up the pulse off that wire, and that light is blinking. All I have to do is look over to the left so I can see a little red light blinking on that wire, and that tells me that food plot up there is still live, so I don't even have to drive clear up to the top and look at the main unit or anything. It's mounted on a steel pole. So it's really handy. I think it's really simple deal to set up. If the tape comes apart or breaks or anything, or the wires, you just simply tie them together. It is like a no-brainer. I mean, you don't do any splicing or nothing like that. You tie it up and you're ready to go. So it's pretty easy stuff, you know, and the guy does a lot of work on a food plot, and you got a lot of deer pressure on it, and you want to keep it good for a while. I mean, they can't hurt my clover plots. They're in there bedding, you know, eating 24/7, but the brassicas, you know, I don't want them to eat all the leaves off before the turnips grow, you know, and stuff like that. And we got a lot of deer pressure out here, even though we lost a lot last year. So anyway, that's my little video for today, and good luck with you guys' food plots. Iowa Hunter here, and we're going to back it on out.